CIA want to see where it leads.
They've got her surrounded.
Paige will have a choice.
She is 14 years old.
He wants to help, that's all.
I really wish you guys would stop worrying about me.
Pull her over now before it's too late.
Hey guys, welcome to What the Flick, episode 3? Yes, episode 3, season 3 of The Americans. Open house. Alonso, Duralde, Robert Abele, Ben Mankiewicz. So let's,
The most suspenseful episode maybe I think they've ever done.
It was tremendously suspenseful. Yes. But first, because it's called Open House, I'd like to talk about the Open House. The guy's the worst spy in the world.
Yeah.
Spy. He's in his own. He's in the guy's office. Well, it is an open house. I don't care.
Why didn't Phil just take the opportunity to go like, can I just look at some of your stuff while you're going? What's in that drawer over there?
If I rifle through your files,
I don't care.
Hide it in the laundry room like a normal person.
But it is the sense. But it also is true that like a guy in a tense divorce, like. It's all he's thinking about. It's occupying up all his brain space. Yeah. So because it was a nice way to diffuse what was that incredibly tense moment when the guy comes home and runs up the stairs and there's nothing she can do. And then it turns out it doesn't matter because he's so everything. Yeah. He's the Hugh Bonneville of spies.
I gotta say, I was a little cold about the car stuff. Like after a while, I felt like I was like, we're doing this still. Again, it didn't build up in momentum for me. It didn't I didn't feel like it was getting tighter and tighter. It was just,
my God!
I just got kind of bored with it, and maybe that's my failing, but that was my failing.
I definitely was into it. I was tense. I once you stop worrying about who everybody is and just get that.
I mean, 11 cars? Didn't they say they have 11 cars?
11 cars, and and like the thing about cars in 1982 that feds drove, they all look exactly the same, but then calling to get the Russians' help, the guy throwing the walkie-talkie in,
just jamming their signals so that she can get out, and then it caused the accident, and then her heavy breathing in the car when she lies down in the back. I mean, that was just all really great. And
the stop, drop, and roll. Out of the car.
That was a good. That was a nice move.
But I think you need that because the scene that follows when she goes home is maybe the most intimate scene that those two actors have shot on this show. I mean, pulling a tooth is an act of love. I mean,
pulling the wrong tooth.
Well, the Three Stooges when they pulled a tooth, that was an act of love too. But that was different. But in this case,
I was thinking about Tom Hanks and the ice skate in Castaway.
Yes.
Right, totally. Yeah.
That was just shot so. It was shot so beautifully and so intensely, just on their eyes and. Her grabbing him and that was just great.
Yeah. No. That part I thought was terrific. I think maybe what the car stuff, why it didn't grab me so much was it's a totally different thing. We were kind of talking about it on The Flash. There are certain things on certain TV shows that they aren't going to that place. Like on The Flash, if they say that, oh God, Firestorm, we might have to kill him, you're thinking, you're not going to kill him. This is not that kind of show.
And they can't catch him now.
Yeah, exactly. No. I didn't buy that this was going to be the episode where suddenly they get exposed.
It's about finding out how she's going to get out of it, and then once again, it's an emotional setup to the tooth pulling scene.
No, absolutely. But I guess at some point during the car, because the car thing, that's an extended sequence.
Yeah.
They really invest in that, and I appreciate the boldness of that, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking they're not going to catch her.
No, but you draw it out so that you see exactly how close she came to getting caught. I mean,
I think the show's done similar sort of close calls like that in a way that felt more dramatically satisfying.
I thought it was very dramatic, but again, it was spy trade, so I loved it. I thought it was really cool.
Right.
No, and again, this could just be me. If everybody loved it, then I missed the point.
But also, at some point, they could get caught and flipped. We don't know that the show isn't going in that direction.
I'm not ruling that out.
Or pretend flipped.
Absolutely.
Or who knows what.
I don't know. I think we'll kind of know when that's going to happen.
But I mean, the whole point of the scene was that they've been drifting apart over this Paige thing, and this thing brought them back together. I mean, brought them back together to the point where he's taking her hand and saying, "Come with me," but it's not to go make love. It's so that I can pull this tooth out and make you feel better.
Although I got to tell you, all I thought about that whole time was your line last week, which was, they have a plan in place where somebody can randomly show up on a sidewalk, throw them but they don't have access to one dentist to make a house call. Yeah,
still calling bullshit.
Yeah,
but Phil can do it.
Right. He also. I didn't write it down, and I was positive I wouldn't forget something that Phil said that I didn't think people would say.
Oh.
In the conversation
with Martha about the foster kids.
Yes.
Well, being sent to a home that doesn't want them isn't going to help. I thought that was a good one.
Right. No, it was in that. Yes, it was in that conversation. Oh, come on! I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it. I thought, no, they've. This is not a 1983 moment. This is a 2003 line.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I could watch a weekly half-hour sitcom about Martha and Clark.
Oh, totally.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Martha and Clark. Yeah. How's he going to resolve that? It seems like Martha's got to go at some point. I mean,
but clearly the new guy is smitten with her,
Exactly.
and she's all stealth married, like nobody in the office knows about it.
And the new guy's good.
Yeah, he's smart.
He was
Adderholt? Was that his name? Adderholt?
Adderholt,
yes.
But he's already caught one of these locals, Herman, right? And not locals. What do they call them?
One of the spies. I mean,
the spies. But anyway, he already caught one, and then. But I like that he likes Martha, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. But also that he talked Richard Thomas into disobeying the CIA.
I know.
Like, come on, it's just one. They're going to get away. Like, let's go. And of course he was.
And what I love with the show is that they'll have a nice moment, and it stands at its own as a nice moment. Then it actually leads to something. So like when Adderholt has that great exchange with Beeman, where he says, "How did you get one of these? How do you fool these guys?" And Beeman says, "You tell people what they want to hear. Just to keep doing that." And you're like, "That's a great line." And then like you see Beeman staring at the defector on TV, and she's saying basically everything
that they want to hear.
Yeah,
Americans want to hear, and he's like, I mean, that was like fantastic.
You know what I missed? That's exactly what that was. Right? Yeah.
And I am so loving Frank Langella. Like even though I'm annoyed at that, by these characters who are like our lifelong friends that we'd never met until this season started, but he just, he's one of those actors who just shows up and you're just like, yes, what?
Yes.
Tell me everything,
Totally.
Everything you say, I listen to.
Yeah.
Stygian.
No one's ever said we couldn't get, so we got to take Frank Langella. Like that's not. Right? No casting director has ever.
Well, I think the show it shoots in New York, so they have their pick of the great theater actors and people who work in theater constantly. So I think that's why you see such good acting.
That's how they got Pastor Tim, Kelly O'Coin.
That's exactly right.
And and for me, Margot Martindale is not easily replaced. No, so you really got to bring it. So Langella, yes, I'll take it.
Are we? Last thing, are we vested in like I know obviously they care about Paige. It's their daughter.
Sure.
Man, they abandoned those kids. She's 14 and she's like at home alone routinely until 11 o'clock.
And boy, is the son hitting puberty hard.
Yeah,
right. Yes. Because that's Mrs. Beeman.
Yes.
You're disgusting.
Well, but I think he always kind of like. I don't think it's so much a sexual thing as much as like his idea of what an ideal home is. Like remember there was that period where he was hanging out at the Beemans all the time because it was like, oh wow, parents who are at home and seem to be paying attention. But just that kid, like you can tell he's gone through that season 2 to season 3 growth.
And he snuck in the one house to go play video games.
Right.
So, we made a reference earlier that who cares about Henry? That's all going to be about Paige. I bet they backdoor Henry somehow.
Henry will become more.
It's going to be Henry.
Exactly. I think the way
Henry's going to find the stuff, not Paige.
Interesting.
Like
I was going to say his moment to shine will be when Paige gets offered the thing and she says hell no, and then Henry's like, me, I'll go. I'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I'll be the good little boy.
But do we care as much about Paige's entry into this as they do?
I think it's an interest. I mean, I can't remember that I've seen this story before. The idea of what happens when unless we're counting spy kids, the idea that children of espionage agents are then being recruited into the fold, not knowing what their parents do. I mean, that's a cool story angle. I think they can milk that well and get something out of it.
And it's metaphoric in terms of like every parent, all parents have as long as a parent's been around, of one of their kids to do exactly what they do. Like, you know, doctors want kids to become doctors, so like everyone will be able to relate to the storyline, even if it's about Soviet spies.
Because we've talked about this show sort of being a metaphor for the immigrant experience in general. And like, what do you want for your kids? And do you want them to wind up like you? Do you want them to embrace the ways of their new land? Do you want them to be more successful than you were? You know, those kind of things. And that's how they're expressing that here.
I like a scene that just has the man in a relationship angrily turning the other way in bed. You know, like you didn't even talk to me about it. You know,
they are you know, parsing out if we're going to get a Kerry Russell butt shot, it's going to be in a scene where it means something.
That's right. That's right. They did. The nudity was definitely contextual. And we were asking last week, like, you know, you wondered she should go up to Buffalo to get her tooth done, but they're checking. Like this is.
It's a dragnet.
They're on it. It's a dragnet. All right, good stuff. Back next week. Thanks, everybody.